Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome to the channel that takes power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're going to be talking about the spell Control Weather. We are giving this one a C-. This one's a hard one. I've had to give this one some thought. It's hard to interpret. It has a lot of wiggle room. You're going to really have to go to your Dungeon Master about it. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I've got another video on. All right, Control Weather is an 8th level spell. It is usable by clerics, druids, and wizards. It has a casting time of 10 minutes, so it's probably, most likely, almost never going to be used in combat. Verbal, somatic, and material component, and that material component is pretty worthless, so we don't have to worry about it. It has a duration of 8 hours. It does require concentration, which means you're going to be concentrating on this spell for 8 hours. So that is the main reason that we're giving it a C-, is because it requires concentration for 8 hours. So you take control of the weather within 5 miles of you for the duration. You must be outdoors to cast the spell. Moving to a place where you don't have a clear path to the sky ends the spell early. If you walk inside, spell ends early. When you cast the spell, you change the current weather condition, which are determined by the DM based on the climate and season. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. You can change precipitation, temperature, and wind. It takes 1d4 times 10 minutes for the new condition to take effect. Once they do, you can change the condition again. When the spell ends, the weather gradually returns to normal. When you change the weather condition, find a current condition on the following tables and change its stage by 1, up or down. When changing the wind, you can change its direction. So this has a great range. Self, 5 miles. Few problems I have with it. Big problems. Big, giant problems. 1, 8-hour concentration. I'm going to repeat that one over and over and over again. 8-hour concentration. 2, you have to be outdoors, and you have to stay outdoors the whole time for this spell to remain in effect. So that means if you change the weather to a certain pattern, and then you walk inside, it goes right back to what it was before you changed it, because the spell ends early. The other one is you can only change each stage by 1, which I'm okay with, but it's the time that it takes for that to happen, which is 1d4 times 10 minutes. So if you rolled a 4 every single time, you're going to go, okay, I'm going to change the weather by 1 stage, and then I got to wait 40 minutes before I can change it again. So I don't like that either. But you can gradually change the weather itself. All right, so for precipitation, we have 5 levels of precipitation: clear, light clouds, overcast or ground fog, rain, hail, or snow, torrential rain, driving rain, or blizzard. So you could change it to any one of these. So if it was raining outside, you could change it to torrential rain. Now, there is virtually no explanation as to what that means. But if it were, say, raining outside and it were cool, you could change it to torrential rain and cold. And if it were strong winds, you could change it to a gale. It doesn't really explain what these mean either. So one of the things I've done is I've pulled up the environment in the player's handbook, and we can look at things like vision. And that would correspond to things like precipitation, and not necessarily wind or temperature, but it does, in my opinion, in my Dungeon Master interpretation, it would be vision. So, and they do offer some things in here like dim light, patchy fog, moderate foliage. So there's a weather condition right there, patchy fog. And then heavily obscured would be like opaque fog. And that would be heavily obscured, which gives the blinded condition. This one gives disadvantage on wisdom perception checks. And that is basically what they go through as far as like weather goes. There's not a lot in the player's handbook. Now, I would say that overcast ground fog, that one right there, to rain, hail, or snow would probably be lightly obscured, and anything at the level 5 here would be heavily obscured because you can't really see through it. Doesn't really apply to the rest of these. Now, the Dungeon Master's Guide has a weather pick here, and it talks about different things like extreme cold, extreme heat, strong winds. So that would match up with this right here. So you can, let's say it's warm outside. Warm being probably like room temperature. You could change it to hot. Hot's not here, but extreme heat is here, and that would be this like level 1. Or you could change it to extreme cold, which would be number 6, and that I think that would be right here. So you could eventually change things to when the temperature is at 0 degrees Fahrenheit, a creature is exposed to cold, has to make a DC 10 saving throw at the end of each hour or gain a level of exhaustion. Basically the same thing for extreme heat. Now they go into strong winds. So a strong wind imposes disadvantage on ranged attacks and wisdom perception checks. A strong wind also extinguishes flame, flying creatures. So, I would say in that instance, it's probably a gale or a storm. Well, it says strong wind right here, so it could be 3, 4, or 5. But these are the rules for a strong wind. What happens if it's stronger than that, a gale or a storm? Would these affect the vision conditions as well? That, again, you're going to have to talk to your Dungeon Master about that. Then there's heavy precipitation. Everything in the area, heavy rain or heavy snowfall, is lightly obscured, and creatures in the area have disadvantage on perception checks. Heavy rain also extinguishes open flames. So heavy rain, I would say rain is heavy rain. Snow, torrential rain, driving hail, or blizzard probably is going to block vision completely. Because if it's, you've heard the term whiteout. So whiteout, would mean you just can't see anything. Now they've got high altitude here, which really doesn't have anything to do with this. And then there's wilderness hazards, which doesn't really have anything to do with that either. So it's very limited on weather. Now let's take a look at Xanthar's Guide and see. I don't think Xanthar's Guide has anything in the Dungeon Master's tools. So they have falling, sleep, adamant, tying knots, encounter building, random encounters in different places, downtime. So nothing there. And Tasha's is the other one that might have something. And they have sidekicks, parlaying, natural hazards. What's in natural hazards here? So they've got avalanches falling into water, falling onto a creature, spell equivalent natural hazards, which they have a windstorm. So that could be like torrential rain or storm or gale. So same as a gust of wind. Anything else here? Thunder, toxic. So there's not a lot there. They've got fog. They've got flooding. They've got blizzard. So, it's really up to your DM. I wish that this spell it's very flavorful, but it's not rules mechanic heavy. And that's one of the other reasons why I don't like this spell. I just don't feel that this is an 8th level spell, and I just don't feel that it has a lot of use because of that. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.